Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Full Metal Media movie Battleground match. Today is a match of titans. We have two great competitors entering the ring today. We have Ryan Payne versus Max Vincent in a battle royale. But of course, I cannot be remiss to introduce my co-hosts, my fellow judges, Douglas and Alec. How are we doing today, guys? Let's start with Douglas. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. First time here, and I'm excited. Excited to see everything. Started a little bit of problems with my promo video that I shot. People didn't seem to like it because I didn't step up. So I'm here to step up and do some judging and then compete.
Awesome. Alec, how are we feeling?
Pretty good, man. I'm excited to see this match. I've been looking forward to this since I got in as a judge. So looking forward to it, and then hopefully getting the match pretty soon, too, for myself.
Awesome. I forgot to introduce myself, too. My name is Asher Bold Gold. I've been playing in this league for a little bit and finally got the keys to the wheel, to the fancy new ride we call Movie Battleground. So I will be hosting and main judge of tonight's match. So we got a few new competitors coming into the night's match. We have, first, I will introduce Ryan Payne. How are we doing, sir?
I'm pretty good, actually. It's definitely one of my first battlegrounds here. But one thing I do love more than pretty much talking pop culture is actually debating pop culture. At least get into these fun arguments. So I can't wait to see what's going to go down.
Yeah. And then second, your competitor for today is Max Vincent. Max, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. We'll see what happens. That's basically what I say all the time. I compete in any Full Metal match. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll see.
Wonderful. So let me just explain the rules to you guys. And you guys each chose lovely answers for each of your questions. So the rules are going to go as such. In Movie Battleground, there are 3 preliminary questions that we gave you at the start of the match. You each submitted your answers. They were each approved. I believe you guys did not tell each other your answers. So this should be looking like a very fun match, as opposed to knowing each other's answers. You're going in blind, which is very interesting. So I'm just going to give you the rules. Movie Battleground goes by as such. We are looking for the best arguments. We are not looking for the subjective correct answer. We are looking for the best argument of your choices. Not what we would rather choose, but what we think is the better argument of the position. So play goes as such. We start play with a minute intro, a 1-minute introduction for each player. And then we go into a 5-minute argument session between both of you, and you can bounce back and forth as you wish. And then we go after that to a 1-minute closing argument. If at the start of any of these questions you want to take an extra minute, you raise your hand and say extra minute, and then we will apply a minute to each of you. So it would end up being a 7-minute argument, essentially, as opposed to a 5-minute argument, because we would apply 1 minute to each of you in that argument. So if you guys want, that is an option. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not, because you're just being redundant, but it's completely up to you. And if we cannot decide a winner in the first 3 rounds, that would mean that one of you does not sweep the first 3 rounds. Then we go into speed round questions. We have 2 speed round questions, which I will give you on the spot, and I will explain the rules as we go along. Does everybody understand the rules? Everybody know, get a feel for the rules at this point?
Yep, we're good. Got it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun.
Sweet. So I'll set my timer. And so, yes, in honor of the Oscars a few weeks ago, and Bradley Cooper being nominated for Best Director and a lot of things for A Star is Born, we would like to know what is the worst Bradley Cooper performance. And seeing as you guys are both neutral on neutral footing, I'm going to start with Ryan for opening statements. You have 1 minute to say your opening statement, and your time begins when you begin speaking.
Well, regarding Bradley Cooper performances, I decided to go with a performance from a film that happened after when he started blowing up in popularity, which is All About Steve, his worst performance because he barely makes an impression in that movie. Sure, you see him there, happens right after The Hangover, so he's on that popularity. But the problem is he is second fiddle to a very eccentric Sandra Bullock in this movie. You barely recognize him. The supporting characters have more impression and personality than he does. So I consider his worst performance because he's second billing and he barely, like, in my opinion, does not make an impression in this movie. I mean, sure, he's fine, but I barely, consider his performance as above average or even average.
Okay. Sounds good. You have about 10 seconds if you want. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. Ended early. Wow. Okay. Thank you for your opening pitch. And now, Max, whenever you're ready, when you start talking, I will start the timer.
All right, so I'll just say it. The worst Bradley Cooper performance, in my opinion, is from a 2015 film called Aloha. This movie is garbage, and Bradley Cooper makes the garbage movie even more garbage because he just phones it in. He could actually have bring efforts or work with a respected director like Cameron Crowe, Emma Stone, Bill Murray. I mean, the cast is amazing. What does he do? He just phones it in, and it's just really dull. That's my opening statement. I don't want to spoil the rest, maybe.
Okay. That's great. Wow. You guys are really using your time. So 5 minutes, and it will start right now, and you can bounce back and forth. It's a normal argument. So 5 minutes, and it starts right now.
Okay, talking about Aloha here, I understand that his Cooper performance was a little dull, but the thing was, like you said, this was an amazing cast, so we had people to bounce off of. I mean, there was Emma Stone, Bill Murray, I forgot the other lead actress' name, but the thing was,
they phoned it in. Every single actor, Emma Stone, Alec Baldwin, Bill Murray, John Krasinski, they're in this movie. They do nothing, and then you have Bradley Cooper that does nothing either. He doesn't add anything to the movie. They just A-list actors phoning it in. Same thing with All About Steve. Sandra Bullock.
Steve, there was at least more supporting characters in there. I mean, there was Thomas Hayden Church. There was Ken Jeong. I mean, you had at least some good comedy characters. Pretty much, they stole the show from Bradley, who was not just second billing on here, but it was supposed to be he is the main focus of this movie. And like Aloha, at least the difference between his performance in Aloha and All About Steve. In Aloha, he's actually trying something. Sure, it looks like he's phoning in, maybe to you, but I think he's trying to make some movement. This man is like how he was in Chef. I mean, no, not Chef.
He's not in Chef.
I don't know what that movie is. He played a chef, a bad boy chef. But I saw the same performance in that movie in Aloha. Oh, Burns. That's it, Burns.
That was another bad Bradley Cooper performance, but it wasn't as bad as Aloha. I remember watching Aloha. I was falling asleep, and Bradley Cooper really just didn't help. He was like, "Well, I'm this soldier or whatever, this dude who seems to be there. I'm flirting with this Asian woman who's not Asian because she's played by Emma Stone."
Regardless of the controversy, though, I mean, the story. Yeah. He is at least a driving force in that story. I mean, he's a soldier. He has an ex-wife. I mean, he's trying to hook up with this one lady. He is just there. He is just there. Yeah. Seriously. Well, the only time, I mean, his simple goal in that movie as the character of Steve was pretty much as a normal guy who meets this crazy girl, and instead of ending things, he strings her along, which honestly, if he had said no, this movie would have ended much faster, and it would have been a better performance than I saw throughout this entire movie. Every time the camera, he's always have this like his wide-eyed stare. He's like, what?
At least in that movie, All About Steve, Bradley Cooper is actually, well, if you will, he's trying to pass off a credible performance compared to what he does in Aloha. In All About Steve, you have Sandra Bullock, who won a Razzie, by the way, to this atrocious performance. And he's supposed to compliment Sandra Bullock's atrocious acting. At least he's trying to maybe, I'm not trying to seem her as bad as she is, but she's horrible. And but in Aloha, every single actor is atrocious. I mean, atrociously horrible compared to All About Steve, where Bradley Cooper's at least trying. The supporting characters, like you said, Ken Jeong, Thomas Hayden Church, they're good. They're not that bad.
But the funny thing about All About Steve is that in the billing marketing, they were promoting how Sandra Bullock was coming off in the tagline said, "What if the girl from The Proposal meets the guy from The Hangover?" These are two completely separate characters. It's not just bad marketing, but there was so much going into this. And yes, just like Sandra, and even though Sandra Bullock won a Razzie, she also won an Oscar. And for Bradley Cooper, he came off of probably much his most popular movie, The Hangover. And then this happens. It's pretty much like Jamie Foxx winning Ray and then doing that movie Stealth. I don't know what it was, but this movie should have kept Bradley Cooper going, especially after Hangover. This hurt his stock more than Aloha did. At least for Aloha, we knew what Bradley Cooper we were going to get.
I mean, Bradley Cooper, fresh off of Guardians of the Galaxy, finishing off the Hangover trilogy, even though the last two ones weren't that great. But he's on a high. He's in the MCU, and what does he do after Guardians of the Galaxy and that stupid movie Burnt? Whatever. I don't even remember when it came out. It's called Aloha, and it's respected director, respected actors. Nothing but pointless garbage.
Well, look, Chris Pratt was after Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, he didn't do much after his career too.
Jurassic World.
Yeah. Oh, really? Really? Jurassic World? There was Jurassic World. There was Passengers. Both those movies kind of were completely mismarketed.
$1 billion at the box office, though.
Domestic, regardless how much money it makes, it's the performance I follow. And honestly, I was not interested in seeing the sequel for Jurassic World, and I'm glad I didn't. Bradley Cooper, though, he did some indie movies before he got.
Aloha, he did American Sniper. I think was nominated for an Oscar for American Sniper. One of the best performances of his career. What does he follow up with? He follows up with one of the dullest.
And
but you got Cameron Crowe here.
Time. That's time.
Right.
So now that was a lot of great points being said. You still have a minute for your closing arguments. Since I started with Ryan last time, I am going to go to Max first.
Right.
One second. You have. Okay. You are going to have a minute as soon as you start talking.
All right. Like I said, Bradley Cooper, he came off that high of Guardians of the Galaxy and then an Academy Award nominated, I believe, I'm not entirely sure, performance. Well, American Sniper was an Academy Award nominated film, and he follows it up with probably his worst performance in one of the worst films of 2015. That had so much potential, it just ends up being just this dull performance of a great actor doing something completely lifeless and doing it for the money, and that's what hurts the most. Doing films for the money. There you go.
Okay. You good? You have like 30 seconds left.
No, I'm good. That's
okay.
That's what I want to.
Okay. And Ryan, whenever you are ready, when you start speaking, I will start the timer. A minute.
Now, you talk about the films that Bradley Cooper did before Aloha, Guardians of the Galaxy, American Sniper. These were when he was starting to come into his own, not just as an actor, but as a lead performer. All About Steve came in when he was still a supporting character. He was always playing that douchey boyfriend or that jackass jerk of a best friend from movies like Yes Man and the Wedding Crashers. And The Hangover was the first time we actually get to see him in a lead performance-wise. So All About Steve, where he's co-leading with Sandra Bullock, should have shown exactly how good of comedy this guy was. Instead, he is a dull, straight man to where, like I said, he is nothing but there to where all the supporting characters steal the spotlight from him. It hurts because this was where, at a point in Bradley Cooper's career, he could have capitalized on it. But instead, it's just more of he'll just blow past this and do other movies that follow. Sure, he recovered, but at the same time, like I said, it hurts his stock moving forward to another list of bad movies too. Like you said, only did it for the money.
And time, right on the buzzer. Okay. Wow, that was pretty impressive. That was a great first match. That was a great first round for you guys for your first match, I gotta say, after taking part in a lot and watching a lot. I'm going to go first. We're going to go down the line for the judges, and whoever gets 2 votes wins best female. So a lot of great points were said. Max was making the case that, the track record and the progression of Bradley Cooper's career after, he had American Sniper and he was about to like do fantastic things, and then he just goes off the deep end with Aloha and he phones it in. He phones in the performance. Ryan is making a lot of great points, saying that Bradley Cooper gets his big break in The Hangover and really can show that he's a very good comedic actor. And then he essentially plays second fiddle to a movie that he gets top billing in himself in All About Steve right after. And it shows that maybe he's not as great a comedic actor as we all thought. What really won it for me was I think that my issue was I think Max was arguing about how bad the movie Aloha was instead of how bad the performance was. And I think Ryan had a few more points as to why Aloha's performance from Bradley Cooper isn't necessarily as bad as his performance in All About Steve, specifically citing that Ryan made a point like Bradley Cooper is trying, he's a driving force in the movie. He made more points as to why the performance in All About Steve is worse than in Aloha, and regardless of the movie, it's really about the performance for me. So I'm choosing Ryan for the point. Let's go to Doug. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. That was a heck of a first round. Just saying. You guys literally battled it out. It was great. For me, it honestly came down to the closing arguments because you guys were neck and neck. For me, neck and neck. I definitely understand the aspect of, Max saying the film went down because of how everybody else was performing. And I feel like you're bouncing off with that. So, like, I can see that point right there with Ryan. He just kept focusing on what the question was about, which was performance. So when you brought it all together and you made that last closing argument, I literally by the slightest of margin, Ryan got it on this one. Yeah.
So Ryan is up right now 1 point to nothing. Both really good arguments again, and yeah, that was the first question. So there are
agreed. It was really good.
Well, with that, we go into round two. Plenty of time left to make that ground up. Okay. Max, don't worry about it. The next question we have on our list is what is the best action sequence in a film? And since we started with Ryan last time, I'm going to start with Max on this round. Max, you have a minute as soon as you start talking.
All right. Well, the best action scene in the film is probably in the best action movie of all time, and that is The Raid 2. And in The Raid 2 sequence, it's I don't know how you call it, but they alternate between different characters, and it's the baseball Batman beating off against a bunch of security guards or whatever it's called, and the Hammer Girl fighting off against in a subway. It's basically this sort of alternate montage. I don't know how it's called in English. It doesn't matter. So yeah, that's my my best action fight scene in the film is that. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Interesting. Cool. I forgot that you guys don't know each other's answers, so that was pure shock coming from Ryan's face on that one. So Ryan, whenever you're ready, when you begin speaking, I will start the timer. You have 1 minute for your opening statement.
Okay, for my answer, I decided to pick a sequence that was in a movie to where oh my god, that great question threw me up. But here it is. My pick for the best action sequence or fight is the staircase scene. Is the staircase shootout fight from Atomic Blonde, starring Charlize Theron. I picked that one because it's a very good emotional and physical crutch. Like, it's a high point of the movie because the whole movie is surrounding this whole spy trying to figure out what is happening. You're pretty much it's a catch and grab situation. And this whole staircase sequence was very well shot. The moments were very good. It almost felt like it was a one take in this scene, but the thing was that the editing was and the cinematography was fantastic to where it stayed focused on the intensity of the fight, the desperation in Charlize's character, and also what's not shown in a lot of action movies, the physical tiredness, the weariness in the characters.
That's it. Time.
Oh my God.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So that's opening. We got 5 minutes of regular debate time, and it begins now.
All right. So the thing about the Raid 2 and about its action sequence is the precision, like how fucking precise everything is in the fight moments. Like the dude has his baseball bat, puts it on the guy's face, swirls it around, bang! It's nothing but precise kinetic movements that just keeps you on edge the entire time.
And that's one of the highlights of the Raid movies. But the thing with the Raid 2 was everything was so kinetic and energetic to where even though it should have blurred the line between choreographed and reality, most of the sequences, especially later into the third act, felt like it was all more choreographed. Well, in Atomic Blonde, that staircase scene felt so wild and desperate because Charlize and each character, they're just throwing blows, just trying to take each other out, not subdue each other, but kill each other to survive.
All right, in that particular sequence in Atomic Blonde, everything seems so fake. Whereas in the Raid 2, everything seems so real, like the precision of the dude with a baseball bat. I think his name is Baseball Batman. Who cares? It's so precise. In Atomic Blonde, everything feels so fake, so sort of stage. You can tell that it's not a one take. You can tell the edit.
Yeah, it's obvious. But the way it was shot and edited, it was very good sequence because it's not. I even said it, even though it's not one take, but the way the camera is moving around, going from Charlize's character to the thugs coming out, and then to the physical tiredness her character is having, especially towards the end, to where she's barely throwing haymakers, so it shows her desperation. That's some good storytelling building in the intensity. With the Raid 2, there are some moments where the characters get tired, but then once a new wave of bad guys come in, the protagonist just gets a second win. It's almost like he's Goku or Superman in that moment.
What the Raid is basically just sort of surviving this raid, if you will, of onslaught of bad guys, and they have to fight. Iko Uwais has to fight. And he will not give up. The kitchen fight scene is awesome, but just the precision in terms of an action sequence, how the bad guys, they just fight off against guards or whatever. It's so precise. Every single meticulous detail is choreographed to near perfection. Whereas
and they show the two different styles of shooting.
You can tell that that the thing is not it's not one take. As you said, it's edited in a way that it feels one take, but it feels so fake that you don't buy it.
But it keeps with the intensity of the story. And the Raid 2, I agree, it's a great movie, it's a great shot, but you see that there's two different styles of shooting and they're from two different countries. So and also the fact is that with the way the storytelling goes with the character in the Raid 2, I understand the whole point of the fight sequence is beautifully shot. Every precision is great, but what was my emotional buildup into the character? A part of me wanted to be a little fooled that this guy was going to die. While in Atomic Blonde, even though we're kind of given the hint that she already survived it, but the fact that she's bleeding out, she's tired, she's nearly getting choked out, and the guy that she's trying to protect is bleeding out, and he's not a spy, he's not a fighter himself. The whole shot of that sequence smells of desperation and intensity to where they just need to get the hell out of there. And even then, spoilers ahead, she fails still. While in the Raid 2, this guy succeeds, and the only time he does look tired is in that end shot to where even though his body is exhausted, he's still able to at least get out some words. And especially through all the fighting that this...
but in the particular scene that I'm talking about in the Raid 2, the dude that you're talking about isn't there. It's just the bad guys fighting off.
The bat scene. But yes, the whole thing with that, everything was so fluid and so shot. I had to see this thing maybe 2 or 3 times to get an idea of that scene. And I do like it, but the failure is it was just so fast and kinetic that there were sometimes I felt that I was getting I was getting cross-eyed with the camera shots.
Of a perfect action sequence is the kinetic capability of a camera and of the character to fight off against, to move with the camera and to really sort of really grasp its kinetic sensibilities. I'm saying what I don't even know what I'm talking about, but you know, it's a really damn good sequence. I could when I first I was.
I mean, it's really hard to describe on how good it is. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just that with the, like you're saying, with the camera moving like at the same time with the Batman, it's the same time with the character. I think he's holding a lead pipe or a big wrench. It's just that I need a little like space apart to actually see the movements going, which is what I get with Atomic Blonde. Sure,
Not really.
it might look, the shots might look fake though, but the camera is at a certain distance, so it only zooms in to when the action is getting really up close with the fist fighting.
Time.
All right.
Okay, so that was pretty impressive, guys. Got a lot of points out there. You each have a minute left. Since Max started this round, Ryan's going to start the closings. You have a minute as soon as you start talking. Remember, we're looking for best arguments, not best actual answer. So whenever you start talking.
Okay. The action sequence in Atomic Blonde is very good because not of the way it's shot, but of the story it is telling. In this one moment here, we are seeing Charlize's character in a desperate situation to where she's pinned down and she has to be very quick on her feet in order to survive while having to encounter an onslaught of goons are coming from the stairs or coming from the elevator. And every time she's not only just fighting the goons, she has to protect the guy that she's protecting too. So she's not just fighting for herself in that scene. And while some of the shots might look a little fake though, but the fact is that we are given enough space to not just to actually view her struggle, to see Charlize put on a physical performance through her movement and through everything she's doing. The fact that her character nearly gets tired to the end to where she can barely throw one or two punches is what I think a new style of shooting and a choreography that's going to be used in action movies in the future.
Time. Wow. Okay, that was pretty impressive. Max, you have 1 minute whenever you want.
All right, so here's the thing about Atomic Blonde. There's no build-up before that stair sequence. It's completely dull and lifeless until it apparently has an action sequence at one point. Whereas in the Raid 2, you are literally built up from action sequence to action sequence to action sequence, and then you're just ready. You're ready to witness what is going to happen. Is it going to get better? Yes, it does. And every single action sequence in that baseball bat scene in the Raid 2 is so precise, so kinetic that at one point you're like, how did they pull that off? This is amazing. This is incredible. I'm watching an all-timer here. And I remember watching this the first time. It was I was in complete and utter action movie heaven. This is how you choreograph. This is how you stage. This is how you direct an action sequence. There you go. I'm done.
Okay, with time to spare, I guess this is going to be his trademark. So yeah, you had like 15 seconds left again. Yeah, that was a pretty good.
That answer threw me off so hard.
Yeah, pretty good arguments. I would say I am gonna go and swing it to Alec first. But who do you got in the battle of guy who's holding a recorder versus guy who's resting his hands on his phone?
Man, this is a close one as well. Both of y'all, I like how y'all both had the two, y'all are arguing the same point, but came at it from different aspects. Max talking about the choreography of the action sequence, and Ryan talking about the story of the action sequence. I'm gonna have to go with once again Ryan in this one. When you mentioned in the closing statement about the story, I really started to feel like how she might have felt inside that action sequence and why it made it the best action sequence. So I'm gonna go with Ryan.
Okay, 1 sub point for Ryan. Let's go to Doug. Doug, how are you feeling about this round?
My God, guys, that raid threw me off because I'm like, best action sequence. Yeah, okay, I got a few in my head, and I'm thinking someone's gonna obviously throw out the Raid 1, but the Raid 2 was great. It was a great blind spot. For Ryan, I liked Atomic Blonde, believe it or not. That sequence was amazing. For you guys, how you brought it together, and so you can see where my mindset is. My mindset is give me something that makes me want to be on the edge of my seat when it comes to an action scene, which you both argued for. I'm being straightforward and honest. Max, you had great arguments. Ryan, you had great arguments. What won me over was the fact in the closing arguments, Max said it best. This scene builds up into that. And he expressed that it's action scene after action scene. And that's something that will put you on kind of your edge of your toes. And it's like, that's when you envision an action scene. And it kind of, that's how he expressed it. So for me, the point would go to Max on this one.
Okay. And then I guess it comes down to me. So that's pretty interesting. So you both had pretty incredible arguments, I gotta say. At the start, you were kind of bouncing back and forth for like the first 4 minutes about how yours is either very fake versus very choreographed, so that kind of sounded the same. So it was a moot point for that until you both each brought into your own a lot of different arguments bashing each other. I was for a while, Ryan had the lead just because he was bringing your movie down a lot of pegs, Max, and you were not providing the punch back. But then what won for me was actually your closing argument, Max. What I thought was very interesting. You had very good points, but you were down until the closing argument, and I needed just one more thing to send you over, and that thing was the fact that you made a point that Atomic Blonde doesn't have really any buildup going into that scene, and what makes a really good action set piece, a really good action movie, is the incredible kinetic movement of people in the camera, and what comes from that is buildup of action scene after action scene after action scene, going into a very impressive set piece. So for that, I'm going to give my point to Max. That ties the game up at 1-1. Very good arguments, guys. Very good arguments. So we are tied at 1-1, which means we will be going to the speed rounds. Neither of you are getting knocked out. But we first have to go to the third and final question that you guys know of right now. This is an interesting one. It's been in the news very recently that Ben Affleck is not going to be returning as the Caped Crusader, as Batman in Matt Reeves' Batman movie, which used to be Ben Affleck's Batman movie. He is sick and tired of it, it looks like. So our third and final question for the main round is cast Matt Reeves' Batman and pitch the movie. We started, I believe, with Max last round, so this is going to be Ryan's to start. Ryan, you have 1 minute whenever you start talking.
Okay, for my cast for the Batman movie, I decided to keep it a very short list of characters. So we're gonna have Alfred in this movie, and he's gonna be played by Paul Blackthorne, who was on the TV show Arrow. I have for Jim Gordon in the movie, I'm going to cast Donald Gleason. For Harvey Dent, who's going to be in this movie, is going to be played by Tom Ellis, who was Lucifer in the TV show Lucifer. I will also have Vicky Vale in this movie. She will be played by Riley Keough from the Logan Lucky and from also any other movies. I will also have a supporting cast of Dr. Leslie Tompkins, played by Rachel Harris, who was also part of Lucifer. Dr. Hugo Strange, played by Thomas Hayden Church. And for our villain of the movie is going to be the Mad Hatter, a.k.a. Jervis Tech, played by Nicholas Hoult. And finally, our Batman / Bruce Wayne is going to be played by none other than the stalker from the Netflix series You, Penn Badgley.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Wow. Right on, hit the nail on the head. Okay. Surprised me with a timer. I was just writing down the names. There were a lot of names. Okay. So interesting. Cool. We now head over to Max whenever you are ready. 1 minute.
All right. Well, I didn't do a full cast of the Batman movie. I only casted Batman, and I think that's fine. All right. So the Batman that I believe would do a good job in Matt Reeves' latest film is going to be Ben Barnes from the Punisher fame. And I don't know if I have time to stay. I'll just briefly say the story we have. It's a younger Batman on the streets of Gotham City. He usually fights small-time crimes until Black Mask threatens the Batman that he's going to blow up the Daily Planet and Metropolis. Batman must stop Black Mask and thwart his plan, or something along those lines, something like that I said. So yeah, we see younger Batman, fighting off his first big foe, Black Mask, played by a younger, de-aged maybe, Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
That's
okay. Very interesting. This is going to be a doozy. I can sense it already. We got 5 minutes on the clock for you guys to duke it out whenever you are ready.
Well, one of the reasons why I cast Penn Badgley was, I wanted a younger Batman too, but also a Batman who is maybe like 3 to 4 years into his criminal career. And I wanted a good cast of characters because I wanted the story to not mainly focus on Batman, but the people who he interacts with, not just the villains, but the supporting characters who do have a long-standing history with the Batman in the comics. Now, with my story, it was pretty much the Mad Hatter. He was going to use his hypnotizing tech to pretty much influence people or hypnotize people in Gotham into creating crimes, pretty much leading it to a needle in a haystack story, to which this would be a detective story for Batman. And the fact I wanted to cast actors who can not only play charming, but also characters who have maybe a little subtle hints of sinister in their past. So it kind of leads us to more intriguing characters down the road.
All right. So the reason why I chose Ben Barnes to play Batman is I believe that he can really pull off an incredible emotional range from the things that we've seen in The Punisher as Billy Russo. Of course, that was a villain, but his villain was really deep, multi-layered, and I believe that he will be a really great Batman because you're gonna see a young Batman at his prime, still happy about fighting crime, doing a good job, still grieved over the loss of his parents. But he has a fighting spirit. You see his fighting spirit compared to what we saw in the Ben Affleck movies, where he's sort of dull. He's had it with life until he meets Superman, who sacrifices himself, and Justice League, and blah blah. Yeah. Now we see a Batman at his prime, doing his first big heroic job, which is to stop a building from blowing up, and meeting his first big real foe in Black Mask.
I don't mind that. I kind of wanted my Batman to start off small, early in his career before. I wanted him to have villains who can test his mental abilities. And when I cast Penn Badgley, I wanted a character who not only plays Batman, but can do a very good Bruce Wayne. Because in my movie, we're going to have at least mostly more Bruce Wayne in this movie, especially with him interacting with Harvey Dent, with Leslie Tompkins, and with Vicky Vale and Alfred. Wanted an actor who can be able to bounce off of seasoned vets and also unknowns as well, to pretty much not carry the movie, but to help drive the movie and keep it going. And from what I've seen in you, Ben Badgley, he can play a character who's charming, who has and he's easy on the eyes, especially, and he's got some good cheekbones there. But when he gets into his sinister side into his more stalkerish tendencies, you kind of see that there's something a little disturbed about this guy, which is kind of why I want my Batman, because I want my Batman to be feared by criminals. And at the same time, you don't know if you trust him.
Well, Ben Barnes can really play disturbed incredibly well, and can also play charming incredibly well. He can be the nicest guy you've ever met and the most disturbing guy you've ever met, the scariest. He can be really scary, with his facial expressions, even with a mask, just his mouth. It just sort of, like the teeth. You're really going to see a lot of range coming from Ben Barnes compared to, I don't even know who Ben Badgley is. So, well, in
the Punisher, that's good. That's why he's an unknown. He can test himself here. Because I as much as we want big name stars in these movies, they have, unfortunately, I want an unknown here because you want someone who can carry the movie forward. And especially if we're going to get sequels, we want to cast him again, put him down into a contract. And with Ben Barnes, he was great in Punisher. I loved him, but sometimes he was always jump back and forth between nice, and most of the time, his intensity was always yelling. With Penn Badgley, though, in the Netflix series, when he gets intense or disturbing, he doesn't have to change his voice. He doesn't have to change his tone. There keep subtle facial twitches on him, which work very well. And for Bruce Wayne, I think that can help. especially when with his interactions between Alfred, to where Alfred knows who Bruce Wayne really is.
Ben Affleck's Batman was the fact that when he was not speaking, his facial expressions could convey literally everything, anything. And Ben Barnes' facial expressions could convey literally anything, even if he's just not doing anything and he's just standing there with this sort of neutral facial expression. You know that there's something going down in his head. You know, he's thinking of a master plan. He's thinking about, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And what's that?
Oh no, I was agreeing with you there, but I wanted to move on, like with our villains though. Like you have a Black Mask though, and Black Mask is a bit of a good villain, but at the same time, someone who's automatically just going to be threatening the Batman in a power status to challenge him, like he's gonna start killing.
You can go into it in your closing. So very good argument so far, guys. Really hitting each other hard. Because we started with Ryan in the openings, we're going to start with Max in the closings. 1 minute whenever you start talking.
All right, so I want to say something about Black Mask. We have seen this sort of older Black Mask in Birds of Prey. Now, when the Batman comes out, we're going to see this younger Black Mask. It will be interesting to see, younger versions of older characters that we've seen in the past. But as for Ben Barnes, he can really pull off an incredible emotional range from any sort of kind. He can be a really menacing Batman, but also a really good friend, a really good person to talk to as Bruce Wayne. So yeah, Ben Barnes is my #1 choice to play Batman. After seeing The Punisher, I believe that he will do a great job as Batman.
Okay. And again, trademark ends with 20 seconds left. Okay. Oh boy, and the recording. So Ryan, you have a minute when you begin speaking. Yeah.
With my Batman movie, I wanted this to be a very subtle, grounded character work here. With the Mad Hatter, this is a villain who's going to be not in the shadows a lot, but he's going to do a lot of heavy manipulation behind the scenes. And with our Batman, this is not only going to push him to his mental limits, but also to test him as well on how he's going to handle with a city that might hate him, but also love him at the same time. And with the supporting cast I have with Gordon, Harvey Dent, Vicky Vale, and other characters like Leslie Tompkins, Hugo Strange, I want to breathe more life into Gotham City, the city itself, not just Batman, to understand why this city is so important to Bruce Wayne to protect and the allies he's going to make forward or / villains. We want a Bruce Wayne who's going to understand that he can't always do this alone. He's going to have to rely on other people. And with the idea of the Mad Hatter manipulating people through hypnosis, it's going to test Batman on not only who he can trust, but now how he's going to deal with men like this moving forward. Just, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Really good stuff, guys. We have not gone to Doug to start off. So, Doug, guess what, buddy? I'm going to you first. What are your thoughts on this round?
So I get the toughest round, guys. I got it. It's okay. The other 2 rounds were very much easier compared to this because it's kind of judging something that does not exist, and really honestly taking arguments for what they are. And who argues their film the best. And for me, what it comes down to is the Batman you chose. Because we know the story's going to be great. It's Matt Reeves. So it comes down to the Batman for me. Who can play Batman? Who argued for a better Batman? For me, Ryan gave me the Batman with that argument. He can play this subtle character. He can play it like Bruce Wayne is, and that's what won it for me in this round. So as I said, this was a really tough round to judge due to the fact is that you both picked very good Batmans, but like I said, Ryan just again smudged it out a little bit for me on this one.
Okay. 1 sub point for Ryan, 1 more, and he'll get very close to knocking on that win. So, Alec, what are your thoughts on this match? Not on this match, on this round.
Great points from both of y'all guys. Like Doug, it did come down to the Batman because we know we're going to get a good story. But it came down to the Batman, and for different reasons. I think Max actually argued for the better Batman in terms of Ben Burns and what he did in The Punisher, going from playing the friend, the nice guy, to being slightly more menacing to being the complete menace, which just showing that range. She literally went from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum, and I think that really proved that really won over for me.
Okay. So I guess it comes down to me again, guys. This is great. So I'm going to read the question again. It's cast Matt Reeves as Batman and pitch the movie. So you both cast very good Batman, and you both had a lot of points as to why your Batman was best. But I think one person kind of described their movie a lot more, and it came down to me in the closing arguments. I think you both had a lot of stuff to say about your movies. Max, your points about the Black Mask. You get to see a younger Black Mask blowing up the Daily Planet, and you get to see that emotional range in your Batman as he tries to save it and tries to stop things that go down. I'm going to give the point to Ryan because in his closing, he makes a lot of very important points about how why this city is important and how it's pushing the mental limits of Bruce Wayne, of Batman as a younger person, and how that takes its toll into the future. I think there was just a lot more narrative description going on from Ryan, and part of the question, although the main part of the question was pitch Batman, it was also pitch the movie. So I think as a whole, Ryan argued for the movie as well a little bit more than Max. So I'm going to give Ryan the point, which puts Ryan at 2. So Max has to get both of these in the speed round in order to win. Ryan has to get one of these to take the win. By the way, very interesting. I just want to point out that neither of you mentioned like Matt Reeves's utilization of the actors, which I thought would have been a huge knockout punch. I thought that would have been huge, but very interesting. We go into the speed round. So the speed round goes as such. I'm going to pause for a second because I actually have to pull up the rules and you guys can take a breather. But Stubrath buried the rules somewhere in his message to me. Stubrath, you need to stop burying the rules in your messages. Okay, so okay. And we are back on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we are headed into the speed round with the score right now, Ryan 2, Max 1. Ryan needs one more to win. Max needs to get both to win. Okay. The rules of the speed round questions are very simple. I will say the question. Whoever answers it first gets to speak first. Or not gets to, has to speak first. And the rounds go as such. Each player gets a 30-second opening statement followed by a 15-second rebuttal for the first speed round question. The second speed round question, if we get to it, is a little bit different timing-wise, but the first speed round question, 30 seconds opening statement, 15-second rebuttal for each player. And whoever says the answer first has to make their point first. So without further ado, I'm listening for the first response. And where are the... Okay. So this is an either or question, so you might want to listen to both answers. And whoever chooses the answer first, if you choose the same answer, I'm going with whoever says it first. So, okay. Speed round question number 1. Which of these 2 one-time villains in the MCU are better portrayed? Yellow Jacket or Malekith?
Yellow Jacket.
Yellow Jacket.
Okay, I heard Max first on Yellow Jacket. Can I get a confirmation from the other 2 judges? Did you guys hear
that? Max first.
Yeah, so
Max first.
Here we go.
Okay, so Max gets Yellow Jacket. 1 second, just writing down stuff. And Ryan, you get Malekith. These 30 seconds go by much quicker than you expect, just letting you know. But seeing as Max just speeds through everything, I think he's...
Oh, yeah.
I think,
Okay.
so 1 second. And Max, you will have 30 seconds once you begin speaking.
All right. So who's better portrayed? Is that the question?
Yes. So 30 seconds once you begin speaking.
All right, so obviously Yellow Jacket is the smart choice because we actually see Yellow Jacket, or Darren Cross, if you will, evolve from this despicable human being to being obsessed with this PIM technology, whereas Malekith is just this, I don't know, this dumb elf who wants to open portals or some shit. I don't know. There you go. How about that? How many seconds?
You had 10 left again.
Great.
Okay. Okay. So Ryan, your turn. You have 30 seconds once you begin speaking.
Malekith is better portrayed because in the Dark World, he's actually conceived as a huge threat, not just by Odin itself, but the fact is he's this guy going after this powerful substance that's going to make him even stronger, and he has an actual end goal in this movie, and he does make weight by having Thor's mom being killed, and he is the driving force for not only a reunion with Thor and Loki, but seeing Odin pushed to his beyond madness to where he is unreasonable. Malekith is more betrayed because he's a villain that is actually a threat and holds weight.
Okay. And now we got a 15-second rebuttal. Let me just scroll that down. Okay, so Max, whenever you are ready, whenever you start speaking, 15 seconds will be on the clock.
Okay. All right. Malekith, a threat to what? What is his plan? What does he want to do? He wants to control this, I don't know, this ether or whatever the fuck it is, an Infinity Stone now. He speaks in subtitles for like half of the movie. There's no backstory to him. There's no development. He just kills Thor's mother, goes to London, opens up portals.
Okay. Oh, stop it, clock. Okay. So, and now 15 seconds for you, Ryan, whenever you start speaking.
Darren Cross is pretty much just Hank Pym, the dick version that we get in the comics. He's pretty much Scott Lang, who Scott Lang is who could have Scott Lang turned out to be. He is a mirror opposite of Scott Lang, even though it might make a better villain. But the truth is, he's already a one-note dimensional bad guy from the start. And even though
time. Okay. Wow, that was interesting.
Oh God.
I guess
really
okay.
guys?
I mean those were some interesting points. I actually think this is a very hard fought match. I do not know who to choose right now.
Oh my God.
Do either of you have a clear winner yet? Do either of you have a winner in mind? You, my fellow judges.
I think I do.
Okay, Alec, we start with you.
I'm going to have to give it to Ryan. I think he focused more on his character and then attacked Darren Cross a little more. I think there are a few points that Max might have missed to attack Ryan's answer and just didn't take the opportunity to take it. So I'm going to have to give it to Ryan because he attacked a little bit better.
Okay. Doug, how you feeling?
Yeah, I never thought I'd say this in my life just because I thought he was one of the blandest villains in the MCU at one point. So taking out my opinion and going by the arguments, I do have to give it to Ryan. I have to, and I never thought I would say, yeah, he definitely argued that better, and he was a better character. I was like, what? Where are you going, Mike?
Okay, and me, I'm gonna say that I think Max did put a lot of punches in there into his points. I would have given my point to Ryan just because I think he did argue more. You had some points against Malekith, but his points against Darren Cross were stronger.
Yeah,
which gives Ryan the win. And your winner, Ryan Payne. He's bringing the pain. Ryan Payne. Okay. Okay.
That was a good match, though, guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, I was all hands down for Yellow Jacket. Seriously. Okay. Oh my God.
And we will go right now to our winner, Ryan Payne. He is 1-0. He's bringing the pain. Ryan, how do we feel right now after this win?
Oh my God. I am feeling so good right now. I'm a little mentally exhausted. Oh my God, dude. Max, the Raid 2, that was a great answer. Jesus, I was really expecting you to pick an American movie, but when you went with the Raid series, jeez, I knew I was down for the count. But this was fantastic. I love this match, Max. I love the answers you brought. This was a very great fight between the both of us. I really would look forward to having another fight with you on Movie Battleground in the future. And to anybody else out there in Movie Battleground that wants a fight as well, it doesn't matter what topics we get here. If you want a good fight, please message me, or at least message the people in charge, and we can arrange this and we can make this happen. But man, does it feel good. Woo! Never in my life have I felt so happy to actually defend Malekith.
Wow. Awesome, jubilant. And now we go over to Max. Tough loss there. You put in some good points. You had some good points. You just ended up on the wrong side of the pillow on this one. How do you feel about your performance?
I don't know, but it was pretty good. It was pretty damn good. Last time I played, I just did meme answers, so at least I took it seriously this time. So yeah, it was. I think I did pretty well. I debated pretty well. And we'll see what happens going forward, if you will.
Yeah. So that's about it. Your winner is Ryan Payne. He gets a win on his belt. He gets a notch on his belt. He's moving up in the world, but Max still has a lot to go in the tank, as you could tell by some of his arguments that he made. I wanted to thank everybody for watching. Let's go down the line and let's see where they can find you. Ryan, where can they find you? Well, his camera came off. We'll get back to him in a second. Alec, where can they find you?
Y'all can find me all over Twitter at AlecMiller0423, at Facebook, just my name. And then I also do some radio shows for this brand called Texas Sports Review, but we talk all things sports and all that stuff. I have a wrestling and UFC show, so make sure y'all check that out, Texas Sports Review, KTXF on the TuneIn Radio app.
Okay. And my man Doug, how can they watch you? How can they find you?
Just recently, starting here. I mean, there's a couple leagues that I have put my hat in the ring, and I'm getting excited. I'm actually going to create a whole thing around this character that I'm building. Also, just wanted to say, this match was phenomenal, guys. You both should take this with pride. And Max, don't hold your head down, man. You killed it. It was literally by the slightest of margins pretty much on every fight. And like I said, who'd have thought that I'd vote for that elf ever in anything?
Yeah. Max, where can they find you?
You can find me playing the recorder in the club.
The final.
You can also find me on Twitter, Max from Quebec, Instagram, Max from Quebec, Letterboxd, my name, and yeah. So follow me on Letterboxd. I do weekly movie reviews. I know Subrath is a big fan of those. So
awesome.
There you go.
Ryan, where can they find you? Ryan Payne.
All right. Well, everyone can find me on Facebook under my name, Ryan Payne. I've also stuck my name into many matches here on Full Metal, and I'm looking to get more involved, hopefully get into the Inner Geekdom matches. Also, people can follow me on Instagram at my tag, RyRyAgain, and please follow me because coming up like next weekend in March, I'm going to be at the Movie Trivia Schmoedown's free-for-all, so I'm going to be posting photos of that event, although I won't be too spoiler on that, but it's just my experiences there. And also, I'm getting back on this app called Stardust, where I just post 60-second reactions to movies, or at least my opinion of movies, just to get the good word out there on what films that would be interesting to watch and what films you should just rather wait to get on DVD. Other than that, yeah, you can find me right here on Full Metal Random and any random match.
And I want to thank everyone for watching, everybody for tuning into a pretty great match. My name is Asher Brooks and Gold. You can find me on Facebook with the same name. You can find me on Instagram with Notorious__ABG. You can find me on my radio shows here at college. I have 2 radio shows on Mondays. This next week is spring break, but after that, be hitting home with the new music show at 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. And then the my own show, As Good as Gold, 9:30 to 11:30 p.m. You can find it spelled doobieradio.com, DOOBIE radio.com. High on the hill, low on the dial, always number 1 in your hearts. I want to thank everybody for watching, everybody for tuning in to Movie Battleground. Feel free and be sure to watch the rest of the Full Metal channel and the Full Metal lineup. We got Full Metal Random, we got Full Metal Geek, we got Full Metal Classic, we got Movie Battleground, we got Roundups with Jim. I know his name, but I choose to say his correct name. You know what that means. Anyway, everybody have a great night, have a great day, and do what you love and love what you do.